Hi there! I hope you're having a great day and that your semester is off to a great start. This is just a overview of your syllabus for 272 online for fall of 21. There's quite a bit of information here, so bear with me, but I promise it will all be worthwhile. All right, so I've listed two phone numbers here. One is my office number. I'm really busy this semester. I have several classes and I'm on a lot of committees, so I'm not physically in my office too often. I'm usually out and about around campus. If you call this number, a voicemail will go straight to my email, but I don't mind if you send me a message on my cell phone if there's something that you need to get a hold of me quickly for. Just introduce yourself in the message. You can also give me a call if it's something that needs immediate attention. I will always do my best to respond to emails as quickly as I can. My office is in McGuffey in the main EdPsych suite. I have office hours on Mondays and Tuesdays this semester. Since this is an online class, I thought it would be helpful to have some virtual office hours as well. If you would like to sign up for virtual office hours where we will meet on Zoom, then you can access my virtual office to sign up for an appointment slot for those office hours. All right. So we will be reading the memoir by Symia Linton named My Body Politic. It's not a traditional textbook, but rather her own memoir and a really enjoyable and easy read. This week, through Module 1, you've been orienting yourself to what is and what is not disability studies. I'm not going to read these for you, but would like for you to read each of these objectives and the course description on your own time. I will say that this class is not a course where we talk about the causes of autism or the characteristics of Down syndrome or what is an intellectual disability. We're not talking about disability in a medical context in any way, but what we're looking at is disability through social constructionism. And so what is the experience of disability? What are the politics of disability? What does disability look like in a social construction or in a social context? And we'll relate that to other marginalized identity through discussions around intersectionality with race, orientation, all different markers of diversity. I would like to point out the seventh, it's highlighted here, the seventh course objective, and that is that during this term we will develop, present, become personally involved in implementing a plan to move towards more just and accessible practices for the disability community. And you'll do that through your action project. I'll briefly introduce that here, but I also have a video for you to learn a little bit more about your action project. Something that is really important to me in this class is that you, learn the content, that you learn from a lived experience of individuals within the disability community and leaders within the community, but also that you do something. So I want to know that you've learned something, but I want you to take the knowledge that you're gaining this term and do something. All right. So hopefully you've already taken a look at this and you've noticed that the grading is a little bit different. And so this is something that I've spent a lot of time thinking really heavily about, and I would like for you to go into this class thinking about your grades with a really open mind. So I'm sort of reframing how we typically grade classes in higher education, asking you to detox a little bit from that where it's very much achievement-based and grade-focused. And so what I've done in this class, I've opened up all the modules, all the content for you already, and I'm giving you criteria for what I'm looking for to earn an A. Rather than just tell you this assignment is worth 100 points and this assignment is worth 50, I'm going to give you more thorough details of what I'm looking for every assignment, and then criteria of what you need to do to earn each grade point. And so my hope is that you're less focused on earning a grade, but that you have what you need to be able to focus on really what you learn. So it's not so much what you earn, but what you're taking away, how you're applying things. I think sometimes when we have lots of tests or quizzes or papers, we get hung up on making sure that we know the content long enough to be able to complete that assignment. But my hope for you is rather to really engage in the content in a meaningful way so that you will learn it, digest it, and it will stick with you into the future and into your future classes and your future career and in your life in some hopefully meaningful way. So you'll see here that I don't have a lot of assignments, but rather I'm giving you an opportunity to really dive into the content and then show me what you're learning through these weekly module content reflective assignments. All right, so you have 4 categories for assignments. The reflective assignments, so each week that you have a module with new material connected to it, you're going to give me an overview of what you've learned and then your reflections and takeaways of what you've learned. You'll have 4 application assignments, a book reflection project, a My Body Politic, and then, as I mentioned, with that 7th learning objective, an action project. Sorry, my dogs are walking around the house here, and they decided now just to eat and have a drink. Okay, so you can see this. This is sort of tapered, and so to earn an A in 272, you need to complete all 11 of the weekly modules, complete 4 of the application assignments, engage in a meaningful action project, and then for your My Body Politic reflection, complete a 4-page reflection. And then I'm looking for college level work for everything that you submit. And then you can see it sort of tapers down, so to earn a B, you don't have to submit as many application assignments, you don't have to submit as long as a reflection, and it goes from there. So the same, to earn a C, you don't have to do the application assignments, you need to do a shorter book reflection paper. And then I have an opportunity, if you are enrolling in this class just for credit or no credit, my expectation for you to earn credit is to complete the 11 weekly modules. So the only consistent thing between these different levels of criteria are that I'm expecting you to complete 11 weekly modules. And so depending on what grade you want to earn for this class, you can engage and apply the content in different ways or to a different extent. But what's not negotiable to me is that you learn all of the content. And so no matter if you're taking this class for credit or you want to earn an A or you're comfortable with earning a B or a C, my expectation is that you focus the most on learning from each weekly module and then showing me what you've learned. So let me describe these weekly content module reflections a little bit more. So as we get into the term, you're going to learn more about universal design, specifically universal design for learning and universal design for instruction. One thing that's extremely important to me in this class is making sure that this class is as accessible as possible to everyone, whatever your learning needs and your learning strengths are. And so I have a lot of flexibility built into these, all of these assignments, but specifically the module content reflective assignments. And so each week you'll go through your module overview, and there's going to be readings and documentaries, lots of content for you to go through. As you're going through all of the content, I'd like for you to compile what you've learned in a way that's accessible for you. So that could be handwriting your notes, and then at the end of the week you'll take a picture of your notes and you'll upload those. It could be something on typing up your notes on a Google Doc or on a Word doc. I've had students, this is my 3rd semester doing this, so I've had students record themselves talking about what they've learned. You could put on a Google Slides or a PowerPoint presentation, whatever format is most accessible for you. So that's part A of your weekly module reflection. And then part B is, in an accessible way, telling me what you've learned. And so I want for you to talk about what your takeaways are, how you've applied this, how it connects to you in your personal life or professional life or educational life in some context. And you can do this in many different ways. Something that's been really popular with students since I've started offering this assignment is to submit a 3-2-1, meaning that you write or type what are your 3 main takeaways, what are 2 questions that you have, and what is 1 application to my life. If you do that format, I want for you to think about how to make it really substantial and meaningful. Not just 1 sentence for each takeaway, but I want for you to really think about what are your main takeaways. Now, I don't necessarily have a page limit or anything like that. In each module, there'll be different amounts of work that you'll do. Some weeks will be a little bit heavier than others, so I try my best to make it even. But I want for you, as you approach these weekly modules, to approach them knowing that this is the majority of your grade for this term, and this is what is most important to me throughout the term. So if you're submitting your notes, submit several pages of notes, so I can say, okay, you really looked through all of the readings and you really synthesized this documentary. So I want to look at these and have the takeaway that, yes, you have read and watched and viewed all of the content for the week, and you've taken some time to really sit with and think through, sort of process and apply the content. And I'm really open that you can do that in whatever way works best for you. You will not get letter grades or points for all of these assignments, but rather a complete or not complete grade, or complete or incomplete. If you get an incomplete, I promise to give you lots of feedback and say, I think that your observational notes were great. I would love to know how you are applying this to your personal life in a little bit more depth, or something like that. So to me, grading is not a snapshot of either you passed or failed this, or you earned an A or you earned a C, but it's more of a process, right? And so I just want to see that you're learning and that you're doing your best. If you receive an incomplete for something, I'll give you some feedback, and I don't mind if you resubmit it. Okay, I think you'll enjoy these application assignments. They're more of a deep dive into 4 different content areas that we'll be covering this term, and they're brief papers. These can be accessible to you as well. If you'd rather not type up a formal paper, you could submit an audio recording or anything like that. There's a rubric for your book reflection project. You have 2 different options. You could either do more of a traditional paper where you talk about, an overview of the book from SIMI and your takeaways, or you can do something more open-ended in a creative project. And I'd be happy to talk to you more about that. There is a video that's linked here about your action project. When we have face-to-face classes, it works out pretty swimmingly to have these be group projects. But I think given that this is an online class, I'm comfortable with and even encourage you to consider individual projects. And so here's several ideas on different action projects that you can participate in. Something that's been really popular for students in the online section is to take a documentary that we've watched throughout the semester. We're going to watch many documentaries. You'll have at least one typically every week. And I gave the example here of Crip Camp. That's one of the more popular documentaries that we watch. And have a watch party, excuse me, and host a discussion with your family or a group of friends or housemates, whoever you want to host this watch party with. But the overall objective of these action projects are to engage in some actionable work that leads towards more accessible practices. And part of that could be teaching others about the field of disability studies and what you've learned this term. Okay, I want to be sure to say that reiterate that it's my mission and my strong intention to make sure that this class is fully accessible to the highest extent possible. If I'm not providing an accommodation, or if there's an additional accommodation that I can provide for students with disabilities, even if you don't have a formal faculty notification letter through Student Disability Services, please just let me know what I can do to make this class as accessible as possible. All right, and then you'll find here at the bottom of the syllabus a week-by-week overview of what to expect. But as I mentioned, and hopefully you've seen, every module is already open for the term. All right, so I just want to say one more time, welcome. I'm really excited to participate in this opportunity to learn together, and I always love reading these overview module reflections to see really what your takeaways are, and excited to see the ways that you're applying this content to your life. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and please send me an email or message with any questions. Thanks and take care.